This is The Great Expanse by JohnBat426 here on YouTube. I'm always appreciative for everyone that has subscribed to the channel. For those of you who have been following me through this Loki Season 2 journey, I'm appreciative if you've watched every video, if you've shared, if you've talked about The Great Expanse by JohnBat426 here on YouTube. It's been appreciated, and I appreciate all of you guys. This is the Loki series finale. This is the review. Now, it ended on Friday, and I'm just getting the video up today, so I do apologize for those time hijinks. Get it? So maybe if I could, like, spend time... As you see, I'm in the King the Conqueror, He Who Remains outfit. I have some ambivalent feelings about the finale. Now, I've only seen the finale once, and I've heard everybody talk about how great it was, but I was just listening to the audio commentary because I do audio commentary to all the shows that I watch. And for Loki in particular, they were almost like podcasts. Me, you know, listening to just the audio, my reactions audibly, because I would drive to work listening to, you know, my take on the Loki series. And the series has been a little level for me. I'm not going to say mid, I'm not going to say meh. A lot of people have said mid and meh. But it's been a little level for me. I thought it started out high, and I thought it kind of like dipped and leveled out. All right, and I said that it's been a hit or miss series. It is a cohesive story. It's just that I feel that maybe a lot of things were kind of put in at the last second just to add drama when it wasn't needed. Like the fact that Judge Dox and her crew were destroying entire timelines. I'm like, that was too big of a story to just have her just locked away and then just killed and, you know, crunched by Judge Renslayer, who really doesn't even play a significant role in the series anymore. I think she's only been in 3 episodes. And Miss Minutes. So I'm like, and I know there's been a lot of difficulty in Hollywood. There was the WGA strike, there was the SAG strike. I believe all the strikes are over, so I think Hollywood is kind of getting right back into the swing of things. But the series as a whole has just felt a little jumbled at times, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead right now, because I usually just go with the flow on these videos. I'm going to give the Loki season finale a B+, okay? And I'm trying to be honest with this review, because I've only seen it once, even though I really want to see it a second time to see what everybody else is saying about it. But I feel like I should be honest and just give you my initial reaction. This way, when you hear it, you can go, yo, this dude is a fool. He don't know what he's talking about. Then I can go back over it, and I'm not going to do an addendum video. ADDENDUM, a great word for The Great Expanse by JohnBat426. I'm not going to do any addendum videos, but it will let me have either a better appreciation or a less appreciation, because like I said, like my feelings are just like, eh. It's almost like an indifferent feel to it. And I'll be honest, I don't feel like, and this is just how I feel, in the last episode, Science Fiction, it's like he just learned how to control the time skips just because. Like, there was, like, not one definable moment. Now, even though he did say it's not a matter of how, but it's who. I needed more. As a technical explanation, even though it's like magic or science or fiction, according to Ouroboros, I just needed one line of dialogue to explain how he knew that he could control it. That's all I knew. And then, again, it ended dramatically. I'm like this, at the edge of my seat, then this went off. I'm like, what? What are we doing? So... it is because of who. You saw Casey escaping from Alcatraz. And again, I haven't seen Science Fiction a second time. I'm almost certain that Casey recognized him on the beach when they were escaping Alcatraz. Okay? B-15 didn't recognize him. Ouroboros didn't recognize him. Sylvie did recognize him. Mobius had no clue who he was, even though he knew Mobius longer than he knew Sylvie. I have no explanation as to why these things are. I have no idea. According to Science Fiction, not according to Glorious Purpose, was just the Loki season finale, the time loom was destroyed. So we really don't know what the ramifications of it were. We don't know what the ramifications of its destruction are. We don't know what its ramifications are. I was like, does this mean that all of time is going to implode? Does this mean that the sacred timeline is going to, like, just splinter off into nothing but branches? It's like, what is code 1229, the TVA failsafe? Because they were repeating it. It was like an automated message. TVA failsafe code 1229. From Science Fiction, I didn't get any explanations. And I'm somebody that I need to hear what people are saying, because hearing an explanation is almost like giving me sight for the episode. Does that make sense? It's like without that dialogue, without the explanation, I'm blinded as to what's going on a lot of times, okay? So I don't feel like I got a significant explanation as to why Loki was able to suddenly control the time skipping, all right? So let's go to the finale, Glorious Purpose. With the knowledge of learning how to control the time skips, we see him skip back into himself right before Victor Timely goes out to plug the 3-point multiplier into the time loom and the tree and the branch and the branch in the tree and the tree in the bog down in the valley, you know, all that stuff, all the techno babble. We see that every time he goes back, it's not enough time for Victor Timely to make it down the walkway or the gangway, whatever you want to call it, to plug it in. So Loki also has to time skip enough to learn the technical expertise of Ouroboros. And it says centuries later. It took him centuries, which makes sense, for him to have the same technical know-how about the 3-point multiplier and the time loom as he did Ouroboros. It said centuries later. And I'll be honest, as an audience member, it became predictable. I'm like, okay, it's not going to work this time. It's not going to work that time. And then it's just like the gerbil or the hamster running on a wheel. I'm like, okay, I know it's not going to work. And I know how this works. He's going to run out. It's like, okay, I've seen it 3 times. Enough. Like on the audio commentary, I'm like, just get to it. Just let me know what's going on. So Loki then had to go further back in time. Okay, and that's when he started learning the technical know-how of Ouroboros. And then eventually he goes back to He Who Remains. When he and Sylvie were dueling, because he was trying to stop Sylvie from killing He Who Remains because he believed him. So, and again, I don't remember, but I think he stopped Sylvie, or I think He Who Remains stopped Sylvie. And I think Loki did. I think Loki stopped Sylvie. And then He Who Remains sat back and said, how many times have we had this conversation? So then I was intrigued. Because I was like, number one is He Who Remains. Is Jonathan Majors back on the screen. And I was like, he knows something, He Who Remains. And then He Who Remains explains, and again, I'm trying to go off of 3 days memory, okay? He said that he set this loop in progress, okay? He established this loop that the time loom, the 3-point multiplier, it would not work, and Loki would have to time skip back to that period before Sylvie kills He Who Remains, okay? That part I did get, all right? So he says the time skipping, he said, it's all my doing because it's like an infinite loop. Either way, it's going to lead back to you coming back to me because you need me for the time loop. He said, or you can take over. Talking about Loki, okay? So then Loki returns to the port, you know, where they walk out to the 3-point multiplier. He says, all right, Victor, you can't do it. I'm going to do it. All right. Now, again, I'm not getting explanations about this. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, I need dialogue to enable my eyes, okay, the eyes of my understanding, you know, not my physical eyes, but for me to know what's going on. And I don't like, I appreciate being lost, but it's like, you gotta fill me in on what I missed out on. That makes sense what I'm saying? So when Loki goes out, and I'm thinking, I say, all right, that makes more sense because Loki's a god. He's immortal. So he can handle more of the radiation of time than Victor Timely could, even in the suit. So I'm like, okay. So then, you know, Loki's like staggering out. And then like, I think he becomes like his, like, I don't want to say Saiyan form, but he becomes like, I guess, ultimate Loki, like the full extent of his magic powers. You know, horns come out. It looked awesome. It looked great. So then the ribbons of time, because of the loom failing and falling apart, he like grabs them. And I'm thinking immediately, how is he able physically to do this? To grab the branches up? Now he could time skip. Now that has something to do with him. But how is he able to connect all these branches physically? And then of course online it said that this is the tree of Yggdrasil, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And basically he forms that sort of like hourglass looking thing. That's one of the emblems of the TVA. And he basically, it's like the controller, it's like the god of time now. So my issue was, I said, I appreciate seeing this. I appreciate Loki finally getting his throne, because he went back to the Citadel at the end of time where He Who Remains was sitting when he and Sylvie met He Who Remains. So I did get that he is going to finally have a throne. I said, but how is he imbued with the powers of like a super god now? Like he's always been the god of mischief. or some people, I think one person said the God of whispers, the God of stories. You know, and if you're mischief, obviously lying is a part of your playbook, a part of your toolbox. But I'm like, I still don't have that line of dialogue, that explanation as to how he just became this super celestial being. So again, when you're going to do hijinks in time, it has to be unique, because I've been a watcher of Doctor Who for years. And when Doctor Who goes back in time and, you know, there's all these hijinks, weebly-wimey, you've heard me say this on the channel before, weebly-wimey, timey-wimey stuff, there's always a good and concise explanation as to how things become how they are in Doctor Who, all right? I just don't feel like the same care was given as far as a concise explanation goes, okay? So now I learned, I think, on the day after the series, it became the series finale. Tom Hiddleston said that's his final outing as the Loki character. He, you know, thanked, you know, the fans for this 14-year journey of, you know, when he first became Loki, and him, you know, at the end holding the branches of time together physically. That's the end of Loki in the MCU. Okay, so it made me, it got me here, because, you know, this was a goodbye. I wasn't really expecting it to be like a goodbye. Okay, now seeing him sitting on the throne, you know, surrounded by the branches of time, it did feel like a goodbye. But for him to put that in the article to say that this is the end of a 14-year journey, it made me a little sad, you know, because this is the last time we're going to see Tom Hiddleston as the Loki character. He did an excellent job, knocked it out of the park as Loki, did a fantastic job. Great actor. Hopefully he has a lot more like acting roles in the future as far as him being an actor, and much success to Tom Hiddleston. You are greatly appreciated as an actor. As a compliment, a serious major component of the MCU, okay, that we've come to know and love, and lately we've come to criticize. I'm just be honest, right? So I was like, okay, maybe I should watch the finale again. I am going to watch it again, but I wanted to put this review out having seen it just once, so I can be honest. So this way, if I see it again, I can timestamp and go, all right, well, I can almost go back in time. Now, when you said this is what it meant, okay? And then I can go, oh, future me. All right, not really. But anyway, so those are my thoughts on the Loki series. As I said, a B+ for the finale. That's B. I don't know what plus is. Maybe that is it. For the series as a whole, I'm going to give it a B. Okay, I think it was a good series. I did have issues with certain things. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the Judge Doc situation, the lack of just like specific technical dialogue as to how Loki managed to properly exhibit the ability to time skip. I just don't have that dialogue. Maybe I'll hear it again when I watch it again. And how he just became the celestial being, I need those lines of dialogue, okay? Because I had a great conversation with somebody that explained everything, but I'm still like, I was saying to them, I said, that still doesn't tell me how. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess Kang the Conqueror is kind of just like a fugitive or a vagabond of time now that He Who Remains isn't around to make sure the TVA keeps all the branch timelines pruned, you know, in the sacred timeline, you know, forging ahead. So I guess they kind of nerfed Kang a little bit. I guess his power set is kind of just, all right, now he's just like a vagabond. But again, this was a good series. This will also be the last time that I wear the Pittsburgh Steelers hat. I was told that it is time for a new hat because I've had that hat for years and it looks dingy. So that is the last time that I will be wearing the Pittsburgh Steelers team hat. And hopefully we're turning a corner for the channel, The Great Expanse by John Bat 426. Hopefully in the near future, things will change that you will notice, okay? Maybe I'll grab the timelines of YouTube, no, become the god of YouTube, whatever. But I'm glad you guys went on this journey with me. Please comment, David Brent, please let them know where the comments go, sir. That's where they go. Leave a dissertation if necessary to further explain to me the things that I asked about or was confused about. Do your part, and I will do my part. So The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand. It's in the name.